This video is for people considering a move to Washington State, but not quite sure yet where they want to move in the state. So this is just kind of a general introduction to the state of Washington. I am going to show you the different regions of the state, talk about different geographical features of the state, and then show you the major cities and populations for each of those regions. I am doing this as part of a series, so keep your eyes peeled for the next video. And as you're watching, just keep in mind, I'm not going to dive into each major city and explain very much about it. I'm going to talk about the major areas, but it's going to be up to you to do further Googling and research there. If you haven't watched my video before, I am a realtor here in Southwest Washington. I am raising my 4 kids here. I've lived here for all of my life, and I'm happy to share my experiences of what it's like to live in Southwest Washington for those of you who are considering a move to this area. I make a new video every week on life and real estate here in Clark County, Washington. So take a moment to subscribe and turn the bell on for notifications so that you don't miss a video. Congratulations on considering a move to the Pacific Northwest. My completely biased opinion is that we live in the most gorgeous part of the country. And every time I travel to warmer climates like Arizona or Texas, I am reminded of why I live where I live. Just you cannot beat the greenery, the trees. Yeah, it rains a lot, but I think it's worth it. Okay, so this is my first little slide here, and it shows that Washington State has 7 major regions, according to me. This map shows more, but I disagree with how they split up some of these areas. In my mind, I have lumped the entire right side of Washington into the category of Eastern Washington, because if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. For your sake, I have expanded that definition slightly. Most notably, we have Southwest Washington, the coast, the Olympic Peninsula, Puget Sound area, the islands in the Sound, Central Washington, and Eastern Washington. Geographical features. The Pacific Ocean borders Washington State to the west. Oregon is to the south, Idaho is to the east, and we have British Columbia, Canada up north. We have 2 mountain ranges here in Washington. We have the Olympic Mountains, which is surrounded by temperate rainforest on the peninsula. And the Olympic Mountains are around 7,000 feet. And Mount Olympus is the highest peak in this region at 7,954 feet. Next, we have the Cascade Range, which includes 14,000-foot Mount Rainier and also Mount St. Helens, which erupted in 1981. Other notable mountains in the Cascade Range are Mount Adams, Mount Baker, and Glacier Peak. Another region is Walla Hills. That is the low mountains on the Pacific coast. They are part of the Coast Range and rise to 3,000 feet above sea level. The Puget Sound lowlands and the Columbia Plateau contain much of the state's farming and agricultural land. You can see the Puget Sound's lowlands include much of the Seattle and Tacoma area, and the Columbia Plateau is crossed by the Columbia River, running between Washington and Oregon, and the Snake River. Okay, diving into individual regions, starting with Southwest Washington. This is where I live. This is where I sell homes. So we have Vancouver, Longview, and then Goldendale. Vancouver, our population's a little over 180,000. If you looked at like the metro area or the Clark County population, that is going to be a little bit bigger. Goldendale, Washington was included within this range, I think just as like a marker for that area, but I don't run across people from Goldendale very often, and I haven't been there. And then Kelso Longview is north of Vancouver. It's about 40 minutes away, and the population is right around 50,000. It's along the river. It has a lot of industry up there, but doesn't have the conveniences of being closer to Portland. Next area is the coast. Long Beach and Ocean Shores are the most notable cities out there. Here's a couple pictures and talking about population, both pretty small communities. Ocean Shores population is over 6,000. Long Beach is only 1,500. These are all stats from 2020. Also, Long Beach, both of them are like major tourist attractions. So Long Beach during the summer, like they get a lot of people coming in there. Also, it is the world's longest beach, which is a super fun fact. Another fun fact is that you can drive on the beach out there. It is considered a highway. Okay, Olympic Peninsula is the next region that I'm talking about. The 3 notable cities out here are Forks, Port Angeles, and Bremerton. And population of Forks, small, 3,800. Bremerton is a little over 40,000. That actually kind of surprised me. And then Port Angeles is 20,000. Forks is notable for the Twilight series, in case you didn't know. Next region is the Puget Sound. And this is where you're going to find Seattle, which is the state's biggest city, and Tacoma and Olympia. Olympia is the capital. Seattle's population is over, gosh, it's like 740,000. Tacoma is a little over 215, and Olympia is a little over 50,000. Next region is the islands. San Juan Island, Anacortes is up here, Whidbey Island, Camano Island. These are gorgeous places to live. Populations on there as well. Whidbey Island has the biggest population. That really surprised me. That's like a bigger population than Olympia. In central Washington, you will find Yakima, Ellensburg, Wenatchee, and Chelan as the most notable cities. And here are some pictures of those areas. They are gorgeous, and you can see the populations. Yakima is the biggest of this grouping with 93,000 people living there. Wenatchee is next at 34,000. And then you got Ellensburg. Ellensburg is where Central Washington University is. Their population is over 20,000, and then Chelan is 4,000. That's another like major tourist destination in the summer because they have such gorgeous weather and it's a gigantic lake. So I'm sure that population goes up and down throughout the year. And then in Eastern Washington, you can see how this is like a larger area that I just call Eastern Washington. I think that the geography map would disagree with me. But for convenience sake, we're just calling it Eastern Washington. So you have Tricities, Tricities is the combination of Richland, Pasco, and Kennewick, which are all clumped together. Walla Walla, which is wine country. Pullman, which is where Washington State University lives. And then Spokane, Washington, which is really like along like level with Seattle across the state. So I didn't really include anything in that like northeast corner of Washington because I don't know. Sorry guys who live up in Northeast Washington. I don't know very much about you. And then here's some pictures of these cities, and you can see populations. Pullman is the smallest with 33,000. Again, that's a college town, so that probably varies a bunch. Spokane is pretty big at 219,000. Tri-Cities, which is those three cities all lumped together, is at 236. And then Walla Walla is a pretty smaller town compared to those at 62,000. Okay, well, that's enough to get you going. Just general overview of the state of Washington. Let me know if you have any questions. Sorry for leaving out certain areas. Can't talk about them all. Just trying to give you broad strokes of different areas and cities here in Washington State. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out with me. My information is in the header above and also in the description below.